everyone, Linda Israel here, and this is Storytime with Linda, Getting on Design Team Part 3. And in this one we're going to talk about cameras, video cameras, and photographed cameras, as well as my photo booth that I have. So I started out back in 2010, I believe, with my first video on YouTube with what I call a point and shoot camera that just so happened to have video available in it. And I rigged it up on a mount so that it could look down onto my table, and I had a mirror so that I could see myself on the screen because it didn't have a flip out screen. Okay, this is how old this was, and that's what I made my first videos on. I did that for a while until Henry agreed with me, and I had a gift card to, I believe, Sears at the time for $200 or $300, and I went in and I bought a Sony Handycam camera that was around $300, and I used it. Now it had a flip out screen, and I could position it to where I could see myself and look every once in a while on the viewfinder, and I used that for a long time. And then in 2016 I pulled the trigger and got the camera that I wanted, but I also was using my cell phone. I use my cell phone quite a bit, but my cell phone is 4 years old, and I wasn't really happy with my cell phone pictures, but it was better than the Handycam pictures. So I had, I'm progressing better and better in quality, and I wasn't really happy with it. Well, I had a tablet as well, and the tablet had a better camera than my cell phone, so I used it for the longest time, and I had been saving my money. I've been saving my money for 2 years to buy the camera that I wanted, and I have a Canon 80D. It is not designed to be solely used as a video camera. It can only do short clips at a time. So I don't know if you've noticed, I kind of clip some of my videos together. And it is really big, but I love the photo quality. I also love that I can do what I call step out photos. That's where you take a photo of doing the process. So you're saying, and here is where and you have the glue in your hand and you're dropping the glue, and I'm talking and I kind of pause. You don't notice it, but I can, on my photo editing and video editing software, I can capture that photo, and it looks like I had a camera above my workspace and I just punched a button and it took a photo. It's that clear. It's that wonderful with the camera that I have. So here's what I'll tell you. Find what works for you and your budget. You can use what I call a point and shoot camera that just so happens to have video. You can rig it up. You can go and get like a Handycam type camera, a Sony Handycam, and I'll put a link below for one that I think is pretty good on the market right now. You can go for a little bit higher end of those Handycams, get out of the $200 range, get up into the $700 range. You can go professional. You can buy a professional camera. I haven't wanted to spend $3,000 plus on a camera yet. I may get there. Who knows? Maybe I can get somebody to sponsor it. If they think I'm good enough. But I felt that the Canon camera, the 80D, was roughly, I believe, $1,200-ish that I could get it for, and I got it for a little bit of a discount because I picked up a pre-owned camera. That's something else. Check out the camera shops in your area. There's probably one that has pre-owned cameras. If you go in and tell them what you're doing, they can provide you information on the best camera for you. Now, I have a photo booth that I've kind of set up in my home, so I want to tell you a little bit about that. I am in a house that has low windows and low ceilings, that even if I could open up, there's a window right behind me, behind this wood shelf. Even if I could open that curtain up, it doesn't provide enough light because of the eave of the house and the wet positioning of the window to help me with photos. If I can, it's not too windy. In Oklahoma, it's windy almost every day. I'll go outside. So you'll see some of my photos that it's on concrete. That's my patio. I'll do it on grass. We have some asparagus that grows in our backyard, and when that bush gets really tall and green and full, I'll set things in that to kind of stage them. But when I can't, because winter's here are icky, or we have really windy days, I do it inside. And basically I have a couple of fluorescent lights and some incandescent lights in a little clip-on, I'm trying to look at them while I'm telling you, a little clamp-on lights. They're just really inexpensive. The fluorescent light I've had for so we've been in this house 20 years, so I know I've had it for at least 20 years. I just replaced the bulb. And the other two I picked up for dollars at like Lowe's. And then I have a white sheet that is hanging underneath a cabinet. I'll show it to you in just a moment. Hanging underneath a cabinet, comes all the way down, and it's on top of a box that's kind of raised up so that I don't have to bend way down to take a photo. I can pretty much stay somewhat at eye level on some of them. I can do tippy toes to kind of get it up on high. And I try to make sure that when I'm looking through that viewfinder of my camera that it's in focus and we're not a bunch of shadows when I'm working on it, because it's really hard to get those shadows out. You can lighten a video, and I'll talk a little bit about the photo editing software after I show you what my little space looks like. So give me a moment. I'm going to change the camera and put it over there so you can see my space. Okay, so it may be hard to see me, but you should be able to see what is my photo booth here. So I'll just show you again. This is just a clamp-on light that just has a regular one of those coil incandescent light bulbs on it. This is another little clamp-on light, and I've just rigged it, y'all. I'm not paying a lot of money to do this because it's expensive to buy fancy lights. This is one of those just mount under cabinet fluorescent lights, and it's on here. And then back behind here is a piece of foam core poster board that I got for free because a friend of mine works in a law office. And so I have this back here, and on it I have a piece of white fabric that I have pinned to this. And I did it this way because sometimes I want to grab, you'll see this in some of my photos, I'll grab another piece of fabric and I can go in here and just kind of pin it in place really quick like, and then I'll have a different interesting look for photographs. So I just have this set up so I can do this. It's not big, it's not huge, it's probably 14 inches by about 12 inches deep, but it works for me without taking up a whole lot of space. I'm hoping to change my photo booth as I'm changing my studio space. But that's what I do for my photo booth, and then if I need to, I get on a footstool and I'll get up high and take a picture. I'll come in here and I'll zoom in close, and you can see that, I think, in my photos. I try to take really good, clear photos. Alright, well, we're going to go back and sit down, and I'll talk a little bit about photo editing and the video editing software that I use. Okay, so I went over and showed you my photo booth. I also took a couple of photos, so you'll be able to see those at the end, so you can kind of get an idea of why I like to have that photo booth the way that it is. So I have been using Adobe Photoshop Premiere Elements and Adobe Photoshop Elements since version 7. It is now, I think, on 15 or 16, I'm not sure. I only have 14. I upgraded probably 3 times over the years. I like it because it's inexpensive. It's roughly in US $99 for both the Adobe Photoshop and Adobe Photoshop Premiere Elements. So these are pared down versions of Photoshop Illustrator. So the really fancy Photoshop is going to be upwards of $400 or $500, maybe even $1,000 for the full suite to be able to use everything if you want to be professional. And that's great if you want to use it for graphic designing too. You may want to go all the way out and do that. But I didn't plan to do that. I thought I just wanted to be able to edit my photos, edit some of the digital downloads that I get, and then of course be able to edit my videos. You probably notice in my videos I don't leave the time where I'm gluing something or when I am embossing or heat setting or sewing unless I'm talking to you. I go ahead and I just shorten that up. I think that what I'm showing you is enough information that you can see in the fast forward that I put up there that I'm going through the whole motion. I didn't shortcut you so that you can see how it actually goes together. There are some people that just do the whole video sped up and do a voiceover. I find that I don't like doing voiceovers. They seem to me cumbersome. I don't know, maybe it's because when I'm making it, I know my thoughts at that time. And if I don't edit that video right away, I may forget why I chose to do something. Or I may have to watch that video a couple of times before I could do the voiceover. That's too much more time for me. And I want mine to look professional. I want mine that when you come, you enjoy watching and you're not going, ugh, she didn't fast forward, or I can't see what she's doing because she's got 8 times speed through the entire video. So that's why I go ahead and I just learn how to clip, and then I remove the audio, and then I speed up that little time portion of that so it shrinks it up, and then I go on to the next one. I just go on down the line, and if it's really a long gap, I'll put some music in there. I'm not super technical about it. I do know that there are people out there on the interweb that will pay, or you can pay them like $20 to hundreds of dollars to edit your videos for you. So it depends on how much time do you want to spend on editing. I spend a lot of time, and the reason I do is because I want them to look good and I don't have money to pay someone else. I'm getting to that point that my time is so valuable that if I could shorten my workload by paying someone $20 to edit a video, edit the photos, and get it all ready, then I may start doing that. But I really like the fact that I do my own, because I know where I can speed up, I know where I can slow it down so you can see something or insert a photo. You have to really work with somebody that knows you and knows your video style to be able to edit for you. So those are some options. You can get the video editing software, or you can pay somebody. And again, I just use Adobe Photoshop. That's the only one I know. I don't know about any of the others because I've not used them. I've been using this one for so long, right around 10 years. So I'm not going to do the research on the others. But I know that other YouTubers, other bloggers, vloggers, design team people, they don't use expensive software. And maybe if you're watching one of my friends as a design team member that uses something else, share below why you're using that. Maybe it was because it was introduced to you by work or something else, and that's why you carried through. Maybe it's because it's cheap or free, or because you use a Macintosh. Whatever it may be, share below, and maybe others can see that. And if I still have questions, I can bring it up in another video. So I talked about the camera, which is, you know, it's up to what you want. It's just really the point of learning about when you take a photograph, doing a little bit of staging sometimes. If you can, don't have a big ugly bar across your photo, like, and I don't want to call anybody out, but I'm going to show you. So you share a journal, but you've got a bar holding the pages down. Use some clips. Just put little clothespins or clips on the sides. That looks a little bit better. I try to work my item so it will lay flat. And if it won't lay flat, then like I said, I'll use a little clip. Sometimes I'll use my finger. That's why I have my manicures again, so you can see my fingers. But, you know, part of being on a design team, part of doing all this, yes, it's a lot of work. There's a lot of things, working pieces of it. I find it rewarding. I find that this is what I enjoy doing. Now, if I could actually make a living and don't have to go get a job, that would be the best. And some people do. They have enough followers on YouTube in the hundreds of thousands, and so they're making 3 or 4 or 5 grand a month just from YouTube videos. And that's not including when they sell something or people get affiliate links and use their products. So, you know, it can happen. I just got to get that break where you, my viewers, share the videos that I create so another person sees it and another person sees it, and it just kind of blows up. So that's my goal. Is I would love to, number one, have 500,000 views by the end of May. I think I could do it. I think it's possible. I'm at 400 and something now. I'll put that in my blog, how many I actually am. And then my next goal would be to get 1 million views. I'm not there yet. I may only have 5,000 followers, but at the same time, I have 5,000 followers. Holy cow. 5,000 of you like what I'm doing. So, you know, it's worth it to me. It may not be worth the work for you. Depends on what you want to do, what you enjoy. I hope these tips help you. Again, please ask your questions below. If I can answer them with a couple of, you know, a sentence or so, I'll answer them on YouTube, or I'll make a video if I feel it needs more information. If you haven't already, like this video, share it with your friends, as I said before. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Comment if you have any other comments. And of course, the last thing I want you to do is I want you to be inspired, and I want you to create and have fun doing it. If you're not having fun, then you need to change what you're doing, because this is supposed to be fun, y'all. Alright, have a fabulous day, and thanks for watching. Bye!